Cool. So I'm going to record all of these, by the way, and I'm going to throw them up on my YouTube channel. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But if you've been to my classes in the past, first, let me say, it's great to be back teaching again. I had a little month hiatus, and um, hopefully this kind of, I got a new structure going on here, and hopefully it all makes sense, and that there's no hiccups. And this is the first one, so there's always going to be a couple of hiccups on the first one, but just wanted to say it's great to be back teaching classes again. If you've been to my classes in the past, you know that my goal is to try to squeeze a ton of information into a short amount of time. And the feedback that I got was it was a little overwhelming. And people were like, hey, I need the recording so I can go back and watch it and go back through it again. So what I thought I would do in this case is we're going to shorten the classes. We're going to make them like 25 to 30 minutes, maybe with a little Q&A afterwards. And I'm going to just focus on one specific topic and one specific thing in each one. So think of this as session one. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a master class. I'm going to turn this into a master class. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, put it in a playlist. And that way, instead of teaching the class 50 times, I only have to teach it one time and maybe update it occasionally. And then you guys can all go back and watch the class, go through it one by one. And we're going to focus on a whole bunch of things. So this first one, kind of the simple basic stuff, but the most important aspects of Google Business. We're going to cover citations and services and custom services and reviews and review strategies, photos, videos, logos, products and updates, post updates. I mean, there's no end to what we're going to be doing with this series. And it was a little too much to put into even one or two classes or even three classes. So I'm like, we're going to split this up. And at the end of each session, I want you to come away with like a solid understanding of what that is, how it works, and how it's going to impact your Google business going forward. Okay. Now, I know I focus a lot on ranking and how to get your business to rank on social or rank on search, but I want to spread that ranking out a little bit more because there's two aspects of this that we're going to be focusing on. One is absolutely the ranking, like how to add things and get things onto your Google business. It's going to help you rank higher. But I want to focus on conversion too. And what conversion means is when you get clients to find you on Google Business, the things that you're going to put on there are going to help convert them and turn those visitors into actual customers. And we call those customer interactions. That's the customer interactions on Google Business is kind of where the focus is, because without any conversions, you're doing this stuff for nothing. So a lot of the things we're going to focus on today are going to be for ranking, but I'm also going to talk about how they will help you rank for conversions as well. And here's my YouTube channel. I'm going to take all of these videos. I'm going to forward them over to my YouTube channel, put them in a playlist so that we can go back and watch them whenever we want. And if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, it's nothing special. I promise it's nothing special, but go check it out. Hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to build it up. I'm trying to focus a little bit more on it. So that would help me out tremendously. Okay. So first, why Google Business? Like, why am I doing these series? Why this class now? Okay. So it's my opinion that Google Business is probably the most important digital marketing tool that any business has available, whether you're in real estate or not in real estate. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Google Business is probably one of the most overlooked tools for every business, not just for real estate. And the consensus seems to be that it's super complicated. It's difficult to manage. Here's the reality. It's probably the easiest to manage of any platform ever. So, and it's not something that you have to focus on every single day. You could spend 10 minutes a day on your Google Business or less, maybe 30 minutes a week, and have a good solid impact. Okay. The other nice thing about this is you don't have to spend a boatload of money in order to do this. Now, if you're paying somebody, you're paying an SEO expert to go out and revamp your website and all that other stuff. Absolutely, that can be super expensive. But I want to show you some really tactical and practical things that you can do on your Google business that's going to help make an impact without spending a ton of money. It's free. Free is my favorite four-letter F word. Second favorite four-letter F word. Now, it's staggering. There's 149 ranking factors for Google business profiles, and they change a lot every year. So I put a link or a QR code on here. If you want to go check out this Whitespark article, it's the one that I'm going to be referencing quite a bit through this. And my goal is to show you, hey, here's where we're at in your Google business profile, and here's where it ranks as far as ranking and conversion. Okay. And it's a fantastic article. I followed Whitespark for many, many years. And so we're going to be referencing this article quite a bit. And remember, the goal of this is to help you improve your Google business profile in 3 different factors: relevance, prominence, and location. These are the 3 things that Google business uses to help you rank higher in the map pack and in local organic search. Now, relevance, we can talk a lot about relevance today because relevance is kind of where our focus is. Prominence is a little bit different. We're going to be covering prominence in future episodes. Prominence would be more like your reviews. We're going to talk a little tiny bit about location and how location impacts it as well. But for the most part, we're going to be focusing today is relevant. How relevant is your business to what somebody is searching for? And our goal today is to provide Google with as much information as we can, because that's what Google wants. They want that current, they want that relevant information to help people make a decision as far as which direction to go. And if your information isn't current or relevant, it's not going to do you any good. And so focusing on things today like your primary and secondary categories, making sure that your website and your Google business landing page is what they call your website, your Google business landing page, your address, service areas, hours of operation. All of these things are super important when it comes to not just ranking, but also for conversion. So where we're going to focus today is right here in your Google business profile. And it's the little edit profile icon that you see right there. Now, if you're in your Google business profile, or maybe you launched your Google business and you're not seeing this dashboard right here, one of 2 things could have happened. Either A, you're in the wrong Google account. I've actually had this happen several times. Somebody set up a Google account. They were logged into their son's school Google account, and she created a Google business under her son's Google account and couldn't find it. We couldn't figure out who was managing it. So if that's the case, simply go up to the top right-hand corner right there, change to either maybe a different Google account or a different Gmail account, log in, and hit that little grid right here. I call it the waffle. Hit that waffle and go to business profiles. You should see this little management portal show up right here, and that's kind of where our focus is going to be 100% today. So let me change my screen share. I'm going to go to this one right here. And I'm going to use a couple of different examples today from other people who have Google businesses that are pretty rock solid right now. And the one place that I really want to focus first is the completeness of your profile. Right up here where it says profile strength. If your profile strength is not 100% and it says looks good like that, we need to fix that. That's the first thing we need to fix. In fact, on Whitespark, they say that the completeness of your profile is the number 12 ranking factor. And for conversion factor, it's actually number 6. Okay. So let's make sure that our profile strength is 100% looks good. That means you might need to, might need to just take a couple of steps. In fact, I have an example right here. Here's another Google business profile that I manage. We're going to tap on complete info. And all it's going to do is it's going to walk us through like a couple of things like, hey, turn your messaging on. Okay, so it's going to walk you through like, hey, let's turn your messaging on. Let's add a logo, and it walks you through the steps you need to do to get your profile complete. So if you haven't already done that, absolutely go in, make sure your profile is 100% complete. All right, so let's jump into the meat of the topic here today. We're going to edit profile, and we're going to go down this line one by one, all the way down here to the bottom. Okay. Business name. Let's start with business name because your business name is the number 2 ranking factor. This is one of the most important. In fact, The next one on the list is right below us, is the business category. So number one or number two ranking factor is your business name. Now there's a couple of different ways to name your business, and I've seen it done a lot of different ways. You might consult your managing broker on this, but it's my understanding, and I've been told this by managing brokers before, that your business name has to include your brokerage on it for several reasons, maybe your legality as well. And if you're in California, you have to have your license number on there too. So it's not only has to have your first name and your last name and your brokerage, but also has to have your license number in there too. And there's a bunch of different ways to do your business or business name. How it's named, it could impact how you are found and how you rank. Now, we're going to use the Parsegian group down in Grants Pass, somebody that I've been helping out. They have their group name right here, Remax Integrity Broker. Okay, so they have their brokerage in here, and they also put in Grants Pass. Now, why that's important is if somebody's searching specifically for a real estate agent in Grants Pass is actually in the name of their business. Now, Google has specific guidelines around what you can and cannot do when it comes to naming your business. They tell you that you can't stuff it with keywords. And one of the things that they said in here was that you can only name your business as it appears on your business card or business license. But here's the thing. I don't think there's a whole lot of people out there policing it. So my advice is stick with your first name, last name, and maybe your brokerage, and try maybe putting in, the region that you're in and see if it has any impact. If it doesn't, we can always change it later. And you can change your name super easy. We just tap that little pencil and we can go in and change this. It's not going to require you to re-verify your business to change the business name. The only time it usually asks you to re-verify your business is if you change the location. Okay. So that covers business name. The number two, that's number two on the list. So super important. If it's not named accurately or named with some good keywords in there, it's probably not going to help you out a whole lot. Okay, next one, business category. So this is the biggest one. In fact, it's the biggest misstep when people set up their Google business. They usually either don't have their primary category set right, or they don't have any secondary categories. So in Google Business, you have two options. And I'm going to tap the little pencil right here. This tells me my primary category is real estate agent. So it's a toss up between the two. A lot of real estate agents use real estate agency, and some use real estate agent, and some use real estate consultant. The number one that I see most often is just primary category as a real estate agent. Okay. If your number one category is commercial real estate agency and you don't do commercial, then obviously you're set up wrong. So make sure your primary category coincides with exactly your specialty. And if you ever want to change or add another category, we can just come down here, hit add another category. Watch this. If I just type in real estate, it gives me all of these primary categories right here: agent, agency, school, attorney, surveyor, appraiser, developer. So if you do some real estate developing, you can certainly add developer as a secondary category. Now, the primary category is the number one rank factor. Your secondary categories are the number 7 rank factor. So if you're using real estate agent as your primary, use real estate agency as a secondary and real estate consultant as a secondary. You can have up to 9 secondary categories, but don't use all 9. Because one of the things that Google says is if you use too many that aren't relevant, it actually can turn your ranking factor upside down, and it's gonna hurt your ranking factor. Okay, so once you have those business categories set up, we're just gonna tap that little save button, and everything that we've done is saved. You're gonna see a little message up here at the top that says Google's gonna take probably up to 24 hours before your primary and secondary categories are activated. But that right there, primary and secondary categories are the number one thing that I see people have set up wrong. In fact, so I run a little bit, and I was searching for a running store one day, and I couldn't find this one running store. anywhere. And when I finally found this running store, they were listed as an apparel company and not a running store. And I told him, hey, by the way, your Google list isn't set up right. And he didn't even know how to get into his Google business, didn't know how to change categories. He says, I'm paying somebody $500 a month for this, so he must be doing it right. And guess what? They went out of business. They're a running store, not labeled as a running store. So if your primary category isn't set right, you're not going to be found at all. Okay, moving on. Business description. Now, I'm kind of disappointed in this one because business description used to be one of the big ranking factors. You could stuff some keywords into business descriptions and it would help you rank on social because you were stuffing keywords into that business description. But now things have changed a little bit. Business description no longer helps you rank at all. In fact, I think it's 148 on the list of 149. Okay, so right there at the bottom with geotagging your photos, which is no longer a thing either. But here's the one thing that business descriptions will help you do is it will help you from a conversion standpoint. So when somebody does find you and they read exactly who you are, they read your business descriptions. By the way, I asked this question in a class one time. I was like, who actually reads business descriptions? Like, when was the last time that you went to a business on Google and you read the business description? Well, if you were serious about hiring somebody, you're going to read the business description. So that's who's reading your business description in here is somebody in the consideration phase is going to read that. Okay, so make sure it's kind of in line with who you are, what you do, your experience level. And in this case, you can see we added, serving areas and Medford and Central Point, Jacksonville, Ashland, and surrounding areas. Those really don't have an impact anymore, but at least from a conversion standpoint, they tell people where you serve your clients. Now, another debate was first person versus third person. Larry is a well-experienced marketing professional who serves the real estate community, or do you write it as I am a marketing professional who likes to serve the real estate community? So first person versus third person, there's a toss-up in there. I've read some things lately that say that the first person, if you write it in the first person, people are more apt to connect with you directly instead of writing it in the third person. So my advice, keep it in the first person. I'm here to turn your dreams into reality, instead of our team, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And by the way, if it's already written in the third person and you need to convert it, just put it in Chat GPT and say, rewrite this in the first person and make it more readable and under 750 characters, because you only have 750 here. You can ask it to stuff keywords in here. It's not going to make a difference anymore. It's not a ranking factor. So once you make the edits and put everything that you like in there, we're going to hit the save button, and you can change that as many times as you want. You can go in, change it as often or as few or not as often as you want. Okay, next one. So this one's a big one too, and this is another one that I see often get very, very much overlooked is opening date. What is opening date? Well, so opening date is the day that you started business. And I always say, if you're a real estate agent, put in the day that you got licensed. And I want to show you an example of where that's going to make an impact, because it's not going to help your search score. It's not going to help your search ranking. It will help your conversion ranking though, because here's what we got. If I'm searching for best real estate agent in Grants Pass, Oregon, this is a paid ad. These two are paid ads. We're going to talk about paid ads in a future one though. So you can see 10 years of experience right here, 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience. And there's Parsegian Group right there, 10 years of experience. If you don't have that date set up right here, that years of experience is not going to show up at all. Okay. So in fact, you can tell if you scroll on down, the ones that have it listed are the ones at the very, very top. So maybe it does impact search ranking, and I need to talk to Whitespark about that. But you can see here, this one right here, no years of experience, because they don't have it set up right. So I think if you're a very, very experienced real estate agent, this could be one of those things that really kind of helps set you apart, especially if you've been in the business, 20 plus years. If you're a brand new real estate agent who's just been in it for 2 months, maybe leave it blank, right? So opening date, very, very, very important. All right, moving on down to the contact info. So here's the thing, contact info isn't going to help you rank on search, but it is going to help your conversion. And here's my advice with the phone number. And we're going to talk about name, address, phone in the next series of this class because it's super important. If this phone number right here matches the phone number in Zillow, on your Zillow profile, on your realtor.com profile, and on your website, if it matches all of that stuff, it will help Google disseminate whether your business is higher or lower on the ranking factor. And it will bring over your Zillow reviews if the name, address, and phone number all match together. So this phone number right here, my advice, just use your cell number. When somebody calls this number, it's going to ring your cell. If you have it set up right, it's going to manage those calls, and it's going to tell you how many calls you got in your performance in Google Business. It's going to tell you how many people found you, and then how many customer interactions you had. And one of those customer interactions is calls. And when they tap that call button, this is the number that they're going to call. And it's gonna mark as a customer interaction in your Google Business. I've seen other agents with teams that have a phone tree. So it rings a specific number and then goes out to maybe a group of 10 or 15 different agents. That's another option too. You can add multiple phone numbers in here. So if you have a different phone number, or maybe an office line or a team line, you can add additional phone numbers as well. But typically we only see one phone number in. We don't want to add too much confusion by adding multiple phone numbers. Okay, next one. And I know this says website right here, but what I'm going to refer to this in all future as the Google Business Profile landing page, because this is the landing page. If somebody finds your Google Business Profile and they click on it, this is the landing page you're going to send them to. It doesn't have to be just your website. It can be a contact form on your website. It can be an about me on your website. It can really be anything. But what you really want to focus on is making sure that this link is good and solid and active. What I mean by that is if you recently changed brokerages and you forgot to change this right here, and somebody clicks on your website and it goes to a dead website, that's going to hurt you from not only a ranking factor, but it's going to hurt you from a conversion factor too, because now you're getting customer interactions that are going to a wrong website address. Now, if you're unlucky and you don't have a website set up, let's say you're a real estate agent, you went to a new brokerage, they don't have a website, they don't offer a website, and you don't have one. Your brokerage probably has a website, and they probably have a landing page with your information on it, right? So find that landing page, bare minimum, find that landing page and point this to that landing page. Make sure that landing page has the same phone number you see right here. And we're gonna go over the address here in a minute. That's our next one. Make sure it has your name, your address, your phone number. All that relevant information should match here as well. We're going to cover that on the next series next week. But so that covers your website, or what I call your Google Business Profile landing page. It does rank. That having an accurate one in there will help you rank, because Google reads the information that you put in here. Okay, so they go in and they check it out. They're like, what's on this website? What's the information on this website? Does it match? Does it have headers on the website? Is their name and their city on the website? Those are all ranking factors. It's a little bit higher level, but if you have it set up right, it will help you definitely rank higher. Okay, next one, business location. So this one's a little tricky because I know a lot of agents that are with a virtual brokerage now. And there's a couple of brokerages in town that don't have a physical office in their actual town. Let's say it's out of town. It's in Kirkland, Washington. And so your office isn't here locally. It's in a different county, or maybe, several hours away. If that's the case, you can still put in a location, but not have the location show up. You can hide the location, which means if I work for that brokerage, my home office is in Kirkland, I'm going to use my my physical, my home address, but I'm going to hide it so that it doesn't show up on maps. Now, the danger in that is, number one, you're not going to show up in the map pack. The map pack is for Google Maps, and that's the easiest way to rank. Is if somebody's searching for something, it ranks in the map pack. If you don't have a physical address in town, you're not going to rank on the map pack. You can still be found, but you're not going to rank in the map pack. So having a physical office in town definitely going to help you. You can use your office to verify the Google business. And what I'm stressing all with all of these addresses, just make sure that this information matches all of the other profiles that are out there floating around in the world. If this address is different, maybe it's your old address, and then they go to Zillow, and your Zillow has it at a different address, and your Realtor.com has it at a different address, and you have all these different addresses. They call that the NAP, name, address, phone. If they mismatch, Google's going to be really, really confused. They're not going to rank you high. So make sure that this information right here, the business location, matches everything, and get a virtual office. That's my advice. If you can't use a PO box, they won't allow you to use a PO box. It has to be an actual physical mailing address. And in some cases, when you go to verify, they're going to send a postcard to that mailing address. And I'm seeing video verifications like all the time now. I think I've had 5 of them in the last 2 weeks, which means that you need to record a video to show that you work where you work, and the address has to match and everything. So anyway, if that's confusing, reach out to me after class, or reach out to me privately, and we can go over some additional options if that's the case, if you're in that category of not having a physical address in town. Okay, service area. Okay, service area. This one's a little tricky because it does help you rank. Having the right service areas on do help you rank, and they do help your conversion. The ranking factor is like 127, so it's not super high. But what this does is it tells people where you typically do business. Okay, now if you're licensed in Oregon and Washington, and you put all of Oregon and all of Washington, it doesn't mean that you're going to rank in the map pack for all of Oregon and Washington. The only way you're going to rank in the map pack is through this address and a proximity of that address. Okay. So, but the service areas give kind of people an idea of what areas you will service. Like if you're in Clark County and you want to go to Lewis County, cool. You can put Lewis County in here. In fact, I recommend counties as the areas that you want to service. So if you want to search, Clark, put in Clark County, and there's Clark County, Washington right there. You can put in Skamania County, Cowlitz County, Multnomah County, Washington, and like as many counties as you want to serve, put those counties in there. That's a lot better than putting actual physical cities, which can be a little bit cumbersome. Counties are a little bit better. Okay. But yes, they do help you rank slightly, but they'll help you more from a conversion standpoint more than anything. So service areas, hours. Okay. Hours, they do help you rank. But they're about middle of the pack. They're ranking number 85. And here's where the hours come in. I'm going to go back to this search window that we had right here. The hours, when somebody searches for you, let's say you close at 5 p.m. or in this case, they close at 6 p.m. And they're searching at 6:05. Typically, the ones that show up higher are the ones that are currently open. Okay. And I don't know. I've seen ones that are closed that show up, but still, typically what you're going to see in the ranking factors is the ones that are currently open. Now you can do open 24 hours, and it doesn't mean that somebody's going to call you at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it could happen. If somebody's on the East Coast and they don't know what time it is here. That's always a possibility. But you can see like most of the other areas around here, they close, 5, 6, 8, 6, 5. When you get into like these ads up here at the top, you can see like open 24 hours. My recommendation is just make it 24 hours. The goal is to get your phone to ring and get customer interactions. And the last thing I want to see is somebody find my business and I close at 6 p.m. and boom, it's 6:05 and they're like, oh, they're closed. I'll call them tomorrow. No, I want them to call me now. Okay. So 24 hours, that's what I would recommend. But whatever you're comfortable with, I know in this case, we're open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's pretty good. I'd say that's acceptable. But and again, it's going to help you more on the conversion side than it is on the ranking side. Special hours. This one's interesting because if, let's say, you're going on vacation, you're going to be out of the office for 3 days, or maybe you close down for, I don't know, a special occasion, a team building conference that you're going to. We can go in and add special days and say, between this date and this date, I'm going to be closed. Or you can use holiday hours. You can say like, hey, on Labor Day, I'm going to be closed on, I'm going to be closed on Labor Day. Boom. You mark closed. The next holiday that comes up, when somebody's searching for something, it's going to say closed on Labor Day. Now, when somebody searches, in fact, you'll find this when you go and you search for something and it's on a holiday, it'll say holiday hours may affect this business. That means they haven't put in whether they are open or not open on holiday hours. So that's kind of the business hours or the special hours section that we have here. Not widely used, but something that definitely you could use as well. These right here add more hours. These are more for businesses, restaurants, drive-throughs, things like that. It just, you can say like, hey, I have special hours only for my drive-through, not relevant to real estate. Okay. Now we're going to come down to more accessibility, amenities, crowd highlights, planning, and service options. So these ones right down here at the bottom, they don't really, the ranking factors are not going to help. It's not going to help you rank, but it will help you from an identity point. So like if let's say I'm going to go more from the business, this identifies as Asian owned, Black owned, Latino, LGBTQ, veteran owned, and women owned. So, and here's the thing, if you check this box, you can't uncheck it. Okay. So if you don't want to touch it, my recommendation is just don't touch them unless you want to mark yes. Okay. So once you've checked the ones that you want to check, we're just going to hit the save button. And Kathy, I'm going to come back to your question here in a second. And then we're going to cover accessibility. This just basically is for disabled. And whether you have a wheelchair accessible restroom and a wheelchair accessible seating, if you have any of those things in your office, I highly recommend you click yes. Same thing with amenities, has a gender neutral bathroom. That's the only amenity we have on here. So if you have one, click the yes. Crowd. This is if you're LGBTQ friendly, you can tap yes or no. If you don't want to check these, my recommendation is just don't check them at all. Because if you check yes and then you go, oh, wait, maybe we're not. Oh, wait, maybe we are. There's no on or off. So if you don't want them, leave them alone. That's my advice. Same thing with planning. Here's what my recommendation for planning is. If you want to require appointments, check the box. Say, yeah, I require appointments. One of my sessions is going to be about creating an appointment link for free where somebody can go in and make an appointment with you. Okay, so I'm going to say yes on appointment required and hit the save button. And then we're going to come down here to the last one, which is service options. Okay. If you offer online appointments, maybe Zoom appointments, we can do that as well. On-site services, yes, people can come to my office and I have on-site services available too. So checking both of those kind of increases your accessibility. It lets people know that, hey, I can either go to their office or I can meet virtually. And then language assistance. So this is a big one right here, because if you are multilingual, I've actually seen impact in this, especially, with people who are, speak multiple languages. So like if you speak English and you also speak Spanish and Russian, and there was one in here. Oh, Mandarin. It was Mandarin. I was helping somebody and she clicked the button that she spoke Mandarin, and lo and behold, it was working. She started getting calls and people were calling her just because she was a real estate agent that spoke Mandarin. So success story right there, as far as, setting this up and making sure that everything in here, we're giving Google as much information about our business as humanly possible. Now I'm going to hit the save button on that. And remember, if if you don't want to check any of these, just, I would say leave them alone. That's my advice. So that covers everything under edit profile and business information. These are all things that are either going to help you rank higher on social, or they're going to help you with a conversion standpoint. So I got so let me jump in the chat here. If you guys have questions, go ahead and jump in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. So Kathy said, I saw people with the green checkbox up here. So this is going to be a future class. These are called local service ads right here. And these two people right here in this instance, they actually paid for local service ads. Here's the thing. They're not paying for this placement right here or for the ability to get Google screened. The only time you pay is if somebody clicks on your profile and they hit the call or the message button. That's the only time they're actually paying. And I'm going to do an entire class on local service ads. I did a case study on it a while back. They are super successful. The conversion rate on these leads is right around 40%. So 4 out of every 10 calls that you're going to get from this, you're looking at a lead cost, an average lead cost between 35 and 45 bucks, right around there. Google screens all of these calls, by the way. So if I was to call Byron right here, it would record that call. And if I was a spam call and I was just calling to offer him a service, he could go into his dashboard and say, hey, by the way, this was a spam call. It wasn't actually a lead. And Google refunds your money. They listen to the call, they refund your money. So I think it's one of the best places to, if you're going to spend any money on ads, this right here, local service ads, probably one of the best by far. So that's the local service. I hope that answered your question. Out of information on address of office. Okay, so I've got a couple of people asking me about addresses and how to get the address right. Yeah, just reach out to me after class, and I'm happy to help you. Get your Google business profile back on track. So that covers episode 1. This is one of like 10 or 11 things that we're going to be doing. Bite size, easy to digest, easy to absorb, easy to implement. That's my goal with all of these classes right here. So if you guys have any other questions, I didn't see any more in the chat. I hope this was helpful. And oh, I do have one more thing. Check this out. So if you want to know more information about the next couple of classes, here we go. You can go to kfaclub.com/marketing. This is kind of my landing page on the KFA Club website. And if you want to contact me, here's my contact information. You want to book a free 30-minute strategy consultation with me, you can do that right here. Just hit the book now. And I have some done for you marketing options where you can pay me to do some things for you as well. And here's the information on all of the upcoming classes and masterminds that we have coming up, and you can register for those right here. So that's at kfaclub.com. And if you just go to the marketing tab right up here at the top, it's going to take you right to it. I have all of the classes booked up through August 30th so far. So the first 5 classes are on the books, ready to go. We schedule in the rest a little bit later. I don't know if I'm going to keep them on Wednesdays yet, because Wednesdays seem to be kind of a weird day for a lot of people. And okay, cool. Well, hey guys, yes, the recordings are going to be available later. I'm going to put them on my YouTube channel shortly after this. So hopefully that helps. And this is just the first of many. We'll see you on the next one. All right, guys, thanks for coming. So good to be back, by the way.